I'm Destin Harrison, along with Megan Frisbee, and you're listening to the GigSalad Greenroom interviews. Today's guest has done it all: acting, writing, directing, and at one point, he even toured around the country in a rock band. His name is Paul Emerson, and he's the very definition of multi-talented. In fact, he had so many stories to share with us, we couldn't fit them all in one podcast, so he agreed to do a separate interview with us later on. In this episode, you'll get to hear about how Paul got his start as an actor and a director, his tips for writing a successful piece of film, and a couple of stories from his pop-punk days too. And if at any point you want to pause this episode and check out some of Paul's work, just go to goodridemachine.com. He has some really great material out there, so you won't be disappointed. Paul Emerson, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Springfield.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
So, Paul, tell us a little bit about what you do. You've been in every commercial ever. You've directed every other commercial.
That's correct, yes. I got my start as a commercial actor, and I've appeared in, 80 or so commercials for tons of different companies, and I've sold out in so many different ways. It's been fantastic. I've also done movies and different stuff like that, but basically my claim to, fame adjacent has been commercials. Yeah. And also in the last 5 years I've directed and so now I'm going full-time director and, do direct shorts and commercials and all sorts of good stuff like that. Yeah.
And for people who might not know, who are listening at home or in their car driving to work or whatever, what can people point to and be like, that's Paul Emerson, that's Paul's work?
I would say I did this short called Lie Detector about 4 years ago.
So funny.
And thank you very much. This is one of those things I did for like film festival circuits. So I put it out in the film festival world, just kind of hoping to like have some people see it. And then 4 months later, like we put it up on YouTube, then 4 months later, all of a sudden people, it was like some Romanian, website found it and reposted it. And then everyone started, and now it's in like 20 languages and it has 60 million hits. It's like crazy popular all over the world. And, I was in Jordan with my wife, a couple years ago. And we're sitting at this campfire in the Wadi Rum Desert. It is like middle of nowhere in the Middle East. And we're going around this little circle of a few different people. And it's like my wife and I, and there's a couple from China and there's a couple from Russia. And that's pretty much it. And we're going around, we're saying what we do. And I'm like, well, I'm a director and an actor. And they said, well, have you directed anything? And I said, well, I did this one called Lie Detector. And the Russian guy goes, oh, and he just like, and I was like, oh, you've heard of it? He's like, oh gosh, we love it so. It was so flattering and so like not, like crazy. It didn't make any sort of sense. I'm in the middle of the, Middle East and this guy recognized. Anyway, it was very flattering and very cool. And, felt nice.
And it deserves the attention. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's really sweet.
It's so funny. It's so funny. All of your work. I don't think I've ever watched something and been like, yeah, that's okay. It's all hilarious.
Thank you very much.
The Mesh.com commercials I thought were
thank
hilarious.
you. Thank you so much. My writing partner Dan and I, we wrote all those together. And we write a lot of stuff. We wrote a lot of branded content and, shorts and all sorts of different stuff. But what I liked about those specifically was just like, it's a specific moment. So let's like overcrank it. Let's go super slow-mo and just see that one moment. Like, I don't know, there's one where this guy hits himself in his groinal area. Thank you. In his downstairs area. And it's just like, I don't know, we've done stuff like that. And so I think that's what we try to write, is things that are, I think, relatable, even if you have not maybe hit your downstairs area.
I wish that were true.
Oh no, have you?
Unfortunately.
Okay. I mean, I have too. I've literally done the pole thing, and that's horrible. No. That was the inspiration. Yeah.
A lot of your material it's hilarious, but has a lot of shock value to it, too.
I think that's very fair to say. I think depending on the client, so when we get into do some branded, content commercials, we feel is that we'll get a bigger bang for our buck if there is, like some edge to it. Now we don't want to go super crazy with it and be offensive. It's just about adding just a little thing that is a take home. It's like, so we did this one called Snotty Ron. I'm not sure if you saw that. Snotty Ron.
Yeah, I have. It still haunts me.
It's a cupcake, and this guy's basically comes into a break room. He eats a cupcake, and he finds, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but it's a mullet hair in his cupcake, and.
I think that's an understatement. It's like it's a glob of.
It's a clump of mullet hairs, but and so depending on the client, that they'll be more willing to take that risk. But I mean, honestly, that went, that got 250,000 hits in the first few weeks. I mean, I don't know. I think there's always something to maybe pushing the form a little bit, but honestly, what we feel like we can do is if you keep things grounded, then you can kind of, especially with the performance, and that's really what I try to do when I'm directing, is keep the performances grounded, and then you can pretty much sell anything and sell the bit. They could be doing something super crazy and eating a thing and finding hair in it, and if you keep the idea grounded, you can make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So do you try and start with something that's super relatable before going to something that's just way out there and comedic?
I think that when we do our stuff, we come up with a concept first, and so we'll find that thing that's like, what's the hook here? So Snotty Ron was that. Then we have one called Human Piñata, which it's funny, like we wrote this thing called Human Piñata for the same company, noip.com.
Look it up.
They
didn't pay us for that either.
Right, they didn't, and I honestly don't really know what they do. So that's okay. It's very like high-end tech stuff.
But it's great, and they have good commercials.
Oh, they got the best commercials.
Yeah.
I've seen them. So this guy dresses up as a piñata, and this little kid's hitting him with a stick. And so we come up with the concept that kind of has this ridiculous sort of hook nature to it. And then, then I start with the directing. I just want to keep everything grounded. So we keep the casting grounded. I don't let anyone get too big, even though what they're doing can be sort of, dynamically large. You still have to keep that in the grounded world, because we all can go from, super shy, mousy person to like screaming or whatever, but it's real because it comes from a real place, because you're playing it for the moment. And so that's what I try to do with my work.
Right. Absolutely. And it plays out very well. Honestly, every one of those commercials I was watching, or the short films that you've done, or anything like that.
Thank you.
Every time I watch one of them, I'm like, one of these has to be less than great. It'll be good, but it can't. And I couldn't find it. They're all
Thank
great.
You so much.
So good.
I appreciate that.
I was sitting in our conference room cracking up for
thank you.
at least an hour solid.
Thank you very much.
So good.
I appreciate that.
So good.
Yeah. Well, my writing partner Dana was in one called Donation.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, we shot that actually in St. Louis.
Oh, did you?
So yeah, it's a Missouri piece, and I got my start in Kansas City myself as an actor, and it's. I think I started directing when I was out in LA, but, I'm very Missouri based myself. I'm from Cleveland, but, my mom was here, in Kansas, not here. She was in Kansas City for her school. And so I came here, I got my start and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like I have a lot of Missouri roots.
Uh-huh.
What do you feel like your first big break was, or your first project that you were really excited about and you're like, this is going somewhere?
Well, I was very lucky when I moved out to Los Angeles. I booked my first national commercial in 3 months, maybe 2 months. And
is that like kind of rare, or is that normal?
And then I booked, and I should preface, I booked my second the next month.
Oh, wow.
At the time, because I got my SAG card in Kansas City, and I don't mind talking. I love talking about like sort of how I got started, because it was so hard for me, and I read so many books, and no one told me how to do it. And I'm from Cleveland, and I had no idea what I was doing, and frankly, kind of still don't. I mean, that's the thing. No one's going to tell you, by the way, guys. And speaking to the listeners, is that no one will tell you how to do it, and no one knows how to do it. We're all literally still figuring out how to do it.
It's kind of like parenting. It sounds like. We're just
right.
like, I don't know, but we're going to try this.
That's it. No one knows anything of what they're doing. They're just trying. Like, this is so true. I forget the question. Oh, yes. So I got those first couple commercials, and that felt like, to me, is like, I'll show those kids in high school. You know what I mean? A little bit like, because I was a nerd. And so I think a little bit of it was like, yeah, no, I'm in this Coke commercial and they're going to see me in that car. I don't know. And it was such a dorky thing. And then I let go of that super quick because I realized that wasn't why I was doing it. And I did this horrible movie, and I don't mind calling it horrible, and that's okay. It's what's called Mirror Mirror Part 4. And it is absolutely awful. And my apologies to the filmmakers, but just did not come together. I don't mind saying. And listen, how about this? It's an okay movie, and but I was awful in it, and I'd only been acting for like a year and a half, and I was absolute garbage. And you can buy it online for 99 cents.
That's going to be my new
99 cents
next purchase.
This is what was it? 99 cents for 4 DVDs, guys. $1.
Share it with your friends.
Now, here's the cool part. Now, mine maybe wasn't the best. Part 2 and 3 to Mirror Mirror starred Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how he got his start.
You could be brothers.
No way.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take
that.
I'm going to take that to the
I
bank.
can see that.
Yeah, so Mark Ruffalo was in part 2 and 3, and then I was in part 4. So yeah, that kind of felt like, hey, I'm getting somewhere doing something. And then I saw it, and I'm like, this isn't great. And then I'm like, on top of it, I am really not good. This is probably not going to be that springboard that I thought it was going to be.
So I have a question how that works. Do you sort of use that as leverage? Let's say it was a great movie. Whenever you're auditioning, are you kind of bringing your DVD like, it's a mirror? Like, do you use that?
I think when it's a decent, project, I feel like I'm really bad-mouthing this movie. But listen, it's campy good. It's like one of those, and I'm not sure if it's campy good. It's just...
Like, it could be a cult classic someday.
Let's just say in 20 years, Dustin, yes, it will be a cult classic. And people will realize that it's genius, and I'm not currently seeing how good it is.
And I'm going to be the one to start that. Right. I'm going to be like, guys, you all need to come over. Right. Everybody I know needs to come over and watch Mirror Mirror Part 4.
Correct, and it's called Dream Demon. So okay. Mirror Mirror Part 4, Dream Demon.
Wow,
I'm excited.
It's a big long.
This is going to be the best 99 cents I've ever invested.
Yes.
Is this a Snow White horror movie, or
it is about? Honestly, it's convoluted. It's like a demon that comes and then tries to take over my girlfriend, and I honestly barely can follow the plot.
I love it. I love it already.
Yeah,
so I'm really not. I apologize to the filmmakers.
I think we need to play a drinking game where we watch it with you.
Oh,
and film
yes.
It. And every time
it's
that
not,
line is uttered.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to all be dead by the end of the movie. Like, we're just going to be like, but we should stop this game immediately. Yeah.
You're listening to the GigSalad Greenroom interviews. Paul may have gotten his first big break after moving to Los Angeles, but it's easy to forget that there were years and years of hard work leading up to that. And as Paul found out, one of the most important steps in that journey is finding out what you really love to do. On a related note, take a minute to listen to our background music for this segment. See if you notice anything about it. Make a mental note because we'll talk about it later on.
I did sketch comedy. I did sketch comedy that we performed at the Improv in LA. Like, there's a little side space. We did, so I did, more sketch with the group called Sitcoms Blow. Very classy name. But it was a lot of fun, and I hadn't done that before. I don't have a lot of stage experience. My experience was always on camera, and so I felt like it was really nice to get into that world of live performance because that wasn't my background. My background was I loved movies growing up. I wanted everything to do with movies, and then I went to film school, and then when I was in film school, I was asked to be in people's projects as an actor, and that's basically where I was like, oh my gosh, you can act, and you can do that, and so then I started acting, and I was like, I'm gonna be Brad Pitt, Springfield native.
Yep.
And then, that didn't happen exactly, but it was kind of in line. I don't think I ever really wanted to be that movie star that I thought I wanted to be, which was important. And I think important for people to hear. What I wanted to do was be a filmmaker, but it was kind of a very long, twisty path for me to get back to filmmaking. And that was through, 15, 20 years of acting.
Do you have anything coming up that we need to look out for? Any big projects that you're super stoked about that you'd like people to know about?
Well, I wish I could actually talk about them because I've directed quite a lot of things that are all going to come out soon, and I'm under NDA. I cannot talk about them, and
under
that's
the radar so far.
Like, yeah, I literally can't talk about them, but yeah, I've got a lot of stuff coming out, so check it out,
keep
guys.
A lookout.
Keep a lookout. Yeah. In me as an actor world, I think I have some things floating around, like a Chick-fil-A commercial and a couple other things, but no, I can't talk about it. So
here's what everybody needs to do. Just every week, set yourself a reminder on your iPhone and just Google Paul Emerson and see what the new thing is.
Right.
Because
keep doing it.
I promise you it will be great.
Also, it's going to kick my star rating up on IMDb. And thanks, guys. So just keep on searching Paul Emerson. I'm Paul Emerson 4. Because there's like 6 of us, so I'm 4.
There's a singer named Paul Emerson as well.
There's a lot of Paul Emersons.
I heard a rumor. Tell me whether or not it's true. But you were in a band called Mayfield, right?
Correct. Yes.
Do you still perform ever?
We don't. I was in it for about 4 years. We toured the country. We didn't stop in Springfield. We stopped in Columbia, which is like a way not as good city as Springfield. No, Columbia was great. We almost got kicked out of the hotel there. So, and I have a great story about that at some point. But, toured around to 26 cities and no one showed up to any show. No, that's true. That's true. Why we had probably about 4 or 5 cancellations, and but Columbia was actually a really, really great show. I couldn't tell you where we played, but it was a really great show. Yeah, I don't remember. It was like, because there's like 10 guys there, because there's 10 guys at every show we did, because we were no one.
It's just the same 10 that just follow you around.
I wish that would have been best. And
5 of them are your parents.
Right. Oh, dude, I can't even tell you how many times that happened. Literally just parents and the bartender. That's most bands. If anyone's in a band, they probably know that's the case. It's usually the bartender and parents in the other band. But in Columbia, we did this show and there was 10 dudes there, and they're like, they're so into it and they're having fun. And one of them gets on stage and then he stage dives into his 9 friends, and it was amazing. And then they just carried him back, and it was like the best thing ever. Like, they were having such a blast.
But it worked. They caught him.
Oh yeah, no, it's just like the one guy's like,
that story was going somewhere else.
Oh no, it was such a beautiful moment. I'm like trying to rock him real hard, and then so he like jumps on, and then they're like just carry him over, and it was just like the best thing ever.
So was it a metal band or rock?
We were pop punk. This was the mid 2000s, so like the Fall Out Boy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and I'm a big Fall Out Boy fanboy.
Me too.
I think they're fantastic. I think he's a great songwriter. Patrick Stump.
Made fun of that.
Also, didn't pay us to say that.
I'm gonna throw it out there.
And you were the lead singer.
I was, yeah.
In Mayfield, right?
Yep.
Do you ever you're having a good time at a bar and you just stand up and belt it? Does that ever happen?
So I'm pretty I think I'm pretty introverted and shy in a lot of ways, and so I've been at karaoke bars and parties, and people are like, yeah, come on, sing. And I'm like, there's no way I'm doing that. And I know that's like such an anticlimactic story because I just don't. But I did do one time. I went to because they have a lot of private karaoke places where you get a room. And I sang I Want It That Way like a champ. I was like, bam. You know what I mean? It was amazing.
I love it.
Paul, tell us as we wrap up,
yeah,
if there's one piece of advice you could give somebody who is trying to get to where you are right now, or even to your younger self.
Right.
What would that be?
Educate yourself. I think that's the first part to it. There was something I wish I had been more trained coming into when I moved to Los Angeles. So I believe there's a good foundation of training. I don't think you need to be perfect, because a lot of it's such like on the job training. I didn't really know how to act until I started working and being on set, because literally nothing will prepare you for a set. You just have to kind of go and do it and get nervous and think you screwed everything up and think you made the director mad, because those are all normal and natural things. And you think you're not very good, and you just kind of have to get in and do it. But I think you also have to be educated to the degree of, what am I getting into? What are my expectations? And you need to know things like, guess what? This magical overnight success thing, I'm not going to say will not and does not happen, but you're talking 1 in a million. And that's a true thing. And it's not bad. Frankly, you probably don't want that overnight success. So the overnight success for myself and for my friends is 10 to 15 years. Mm-hmm. So if you're not prepared to go to a major market like LA or New York or whatever, Chicago or something like that, and spend 10 years like working hard, then you need to think about what your priorities are and what you really want to be doing, because you have to be prepared for it. And you can do it. Absolutely. I'm a nerdy kid from Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense sometimes with the things I'm doing, even now. So, you can do it. You just have to work and want it and take the punches and get back up, because you're going to get hit down a lot.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. This is fun.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. Paul Emerson joined us for another episode of our podcast where he played a round of Never Have I Ever with us and Dana Powell, who you may recognize from Modern Family. We had tons of fun, and Paul shared a crazy story about when he and his bandmates threw their bassist out of a second-story window, and Dana told us about what it was like to wrestle Cam from Modern Family. Spoiler alert, Cam ended up going to the hospital when they finished shooting. It's a great story and you won't want to miss it. And as always, be sure to visit GigSalad.com to find out how we can help you book something awesome. Take it away, Paul.